I made a video before about my dream ideal girlfriend's Enneagram DNA. It's a hard question. If you have a desired romantic partner, you want them to be certain traits, you put it in the Enneagram, there's so many things to go over. It's a complicated decision. So now I am going to say I know who will be my girlfriend. I know of this person. I haven't spent a lot of time with this person, but let me tell you some traits about this person. Like me, this person is a dancer. I met her at a dance event. This person's also good at achieving competition. She's better than me in dance competition. Good with academics as well. Great with everything. Great with music as well. Pretty cool. But that doesn't answer the question, what is her Enneagram DNA? So my task is to see, based on what I know of her, but not spending a lot of time with her, what is her Enneagram DNA? And how close is it to what I thought my ideal girlfriend's Enneagram DNA should be before I had any person to, have as like a representation. So there's only one change that I am doing between my previous guess and my current guess with someone as a benchmark. Alright, so let's get started. I also just want to point out that I have a shirt. I felt like putting on the shirt today from Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory. It says, "Forget love, I'd rather fall in love something with chocolate." Kind of a fun shirt. I'm not sure if I agree with it, but I definitely love chocolate. Alright, so let's start with what I believe is her main type. Type 7. Before, I thought she was type 2. But that's similar. So I have friends that are type 7s, and there's this energy of just go, 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 think fast, and they're so fun to work with. Yeah, they're good for if I want to teach them something, if I want to collaborate. We just work like quickly and just enthusiastically. It's really, really fun. So I am calling that she is a 7. That means she has wings, access to wings 6 and 8. I'm assuming that she has access to both wings. So 6 is more cautious approach. 8 is more like boundaries, like assertiveness. And then stress paths, stress path 7 goes to 5. There's more in-depth, detail-oriented thinking. And 7 goes to 1 in security. So more of a sense of, all right, things are okay. Let's strive to higher standards. Let's do things the right way. And I believe her tri-type is 7 to 9. Before, I thought her tri-type was 2 and 7, 9. But I think 7 is leading. And I will say why and how that really works out later on. But those 3 numbers are the most optimistic type. 7 to 9 are those 3 have a triad. They're the optimists, as opposed to 1, 3, 5 logical, 4, 6, 8 reactive. So if I'm right, she's really optimistic. But just leading with the 7 of like, let's go, let's do something, as opposed to the 2, which I'm saying she still has, but it's more like serving and noticing, being able to see what the other needs. I chose that because it's optimistic, and I'm seeing 2 minutes 40 seconds on the clock. It really goes with, it works really well for me having a 4 heart type. I'm like self-referencing, I'm seeing what's missing. The 2 has the optimist, they can help me get out of a negative funk, and the 2 sees me really well the 4 sees me really well. So the bond of like me sharing something, she understanding that, it's like really, really powerful. I know a friend who's a 2, or at least has 2 in their DNA, and like it's incredible. Both of us have so much fun. So 2 is great. And then I'm saying 9 for the tri-type and the gut triad. 8, 9, or 1. I picked 9. Peaceful. It's just easier to go along compared to everything that will be going on. If there's just, if it's not the 8 or the 1, it's just easier. And she already has, with a 7, she has an 8 part and she has a 1 part. 8 wing, 1 security. There's already those parts in there. If her gut type was 8 or 1, then it would be double down on either 8, boundaries, intense, or 1, this more righteous standards. So I am guessing she is 9. So yes, tri-type 7, and I think 2 is leading compared to the 9. So I'm not saying 7, 9, 2, I'm saying 7, 2, 9. And that is the only difference compared to my guess. And my guess before, I had a person in mind. I thought it was 2, 7, 9. So that is a tri-type, and 7 has those other connections. And the last call that I have about her is her instinctual subtype. Instinctual sequence is the same thing I guess before. Sexual, social, self-pres. Sexual is first. It's about going towards what you want, whether it's competition, people, whatever. Also called one-to-one because you go after that special someone. So a lot of drive and a lot of energy there. Second, social. So you know how you come across in social situations. You know how to be valued. She's a 7, so the social 7 is about not just enjoying abundance as a 7, but giving the abundance, showing that to others. So let's see, she's not a social 7 mainly. She's a sexual 7. Sexual is primary, 7's her type. Social is secondary, but it's still there. So that would mean she'd be a giving of the abundance rather than just focus on abundance for herself. And it really helped me to develop my social skills because I'm social repressed. I don't know how I come across, so she naturally does. That can help out with that. And then self-preservation is last. That can mean whatever she fears or she's like concerned about, making sure everything's okay. She doesn't have that fear. So 7, self-preservation 7, I call it FOMO, fear of missing out. The self-preservation 7 want to do so much that if you can't get to like this thing and that thing and that thing and that thing, you're going to be worried about it and you're not going to want to miss it. So you have a fear of something if you're self-preservation dominant or secondary. And if you don't have self-preservation, if it's repressed, you're not going to worry about something. So I'm saying she will want to go after a lot of stuff as a 7, but if you miss something here, no problem. Just go on to the next thing. Okay, so that is about her being a 7 and all of my guesses with her Enneagram DNA. Also 7 minutes for this chunk of the recording. So now I'm going to talk about some patterns with the numbers and then make my way over to blending the instinctual sequence, sexual, social, self-pres, with the numbers and what they mean for her flavor, personality. That's where this gets really interesting. Now I'm going to talk about the numbers that we have and we don't have. And I'm going to start with that by looking at how beautiful 729 is when it comes to your Enneagram DNA and how many numbers you have. 7 and 2 don't have a connection. One is not a security point of another or a wing. Same is true with 7 and 9 and 9 and 2. They're all independent of each other. So that means if you have a tri-type with that, your wings and paths will be extra numbers. There will be no duplicate numbers. So you have the maximum numbers that you can, which is 7. For example, so 7 is the main number. So 6 and 8 are wings, 5 and 1 are paths. So that means that all the numbers that she has as a 7, they are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2. So 7 out of 9 numbers that all go in order. 3 and 4 are the only ones that she doesn't have. And there's a similar pattern. If you have 9, and I think my grandma is this tri-type, but 9 is leading, so I'll say 9, 2, 7. Then there's a similar pattern with wings and paths. 9 has 8 and 1, and 6 and 3 as the other points. So a 9, 2, 7 has all the points 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. Just 4 and 5 by themselves, not together. And actually that's the most optimistic tri-type, I think, because 4 and 5 are missing, and they're like the underworld, the negative, the emotional, intellectual, overthinking. So it's actually funny, my grandma and I bond pretty well with the compliments of each other, and I'm thinking the same will go for my girlfriend and me as well. And then 2 is also having that symmetry, where if you have 7, 2, 9, 2 is leading, then you have the numbers 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just 5 and 6 are missing. So, cool symmetry. Let's see, so why did I start with that? Symmetry. The other part is look at the numbers that I have. I'm 6, 4, 1. So it's 6. I have wings 5, 7. I have stress point 3, security point 9. And 1 and 4 are different. So I also have 7 out of the 9 numbers, no overlap. So the only numbers I'm missing are 2 and 8. So if I'm missing 2 and 8, she has those. She's missing numbers 3 and 4. I have both of those. So that means together we have 5 numbers in common. 5, 6, 7, all of the thinking types. Then 9 and 1 of the gut type. Yeah, for heart type we don't have anything in common. She is the 2. I have the 3 and the 4. And like I said, 2 and the 4 complement each other so well. Also 24 is my number with my grandma. I gave math problems, 24 problems to my grandma, so it's kind of fun. And last about that is it's interesting that both of us are overachievers. We can compete, we can do things well, but it's interesting how differently we do that. I'm a 6. I really think about things through very well. And I have 3 and 4. She doesn't. With the 3, I'm like achievement, optimize, give me a path. And it's a stress path from 6 because I want to just know what it is. 6 is, there's all this gray, especially self-preservation 6. I see the gray, I can't make it black and white. So the stress path of 3 means, oh, if I can optimize something, I can optimize over a test or whatever. Like, I know how to do that. My 4 component helps me stretch, see what's missing, rise, want to be exceptional. So those 3 and 4 parts help me do well. She doesn't have those, but she has, we both have 7, but she has 7 as a main type. I just have it as a wing. And then she has a wing 8. So the 7 and 8 are stronger in her. Those are assertive types. 3, 7, 8 are assertive. I have the 3. She has more 7, 8. And 7, 8 are more like action, go. Don't pause as much. And just, don't take any obstacles, just go. There's an energy to go around it. So that can help do her well. So it's interesting, we both do well for different reasons. And I said I don't have 3 and 4, I mean, she doesn't have 3 and 4. I don't have 2 and 8. So the 2 and 8 really helps her take charge of things with the 8. And both 8 and 2 are maybe the best for seeing the power dynamics, the social dynamics in terms of others focused. That's my weakness, right? I'm 4 hard type. I'm self-referencing. So she can really help me see from others' point of view what to do, what not to do. And it's funny, I was told that I actually have a lot of feminine energy. The 4, I think, is the most feminine, getting swept away, as well as the 6 gets swept away in things. But it's pretty rare for a guy to attract a woman who can help with having more masculine energy. That's why I thought she was an 8 at first. But now I'm like, you know what? 7 wing 8, that has 8 energy. That'll just help me get out of my ruts, help me move forward, think big picture. And the 7, I used to think is feminine. And it has a feminine energy, getting swept up in things. But it's also a masculine energy of going fast and not letting things stop you. So that 7 and 8 in her will be really valuable for me to not get stuck in things in a feminine way, for her to have that masculine part to balance me. With Enneagram DNA, there's so many facets. It's not just your one number, this is more masculine, that's it. You have all these numbers. Even within the 7 and 8, doing, she has the 2 part, and that's feminine of like seeing someone, but also masculine of seeing how to serve someone, know what is going on with them. So there's like masculine, feminine to all this. Just seeing her number on the screen, this segment was 7 minutes 29 seconds. 729. Okay, so done with that section. And after that, a little bit more about our numbers. Actually, I'm just going to do this now. So it's funny, I said we have numbers 5, 6, 7, 9, 1 in common, but they're all different flavors: stress path, wing, tri-type. So 5, I'm a 6, so 5 is my wing, 5 is her stress path. 6 is my baseline, 6 is her wing. So we can both have some caution, some overthinking, but I have it more. 7, it's my wing, it's her main type. So fast thinking, just go, expand, I have that, but she has that most of all. Then 9 is my security point from 6, but it's her tri-type. So it's her default, it's me when I'm secure from 6 issues. 1 is flipped around. It's my tri-type, my default gut operating system to find righteous standards. It's her security point. So 9 and 1 are flipped. 9 is my security point, her tri-type. 1 is my tri-type, her security point from 7. So pretty interesting there. One really interesting facet is that the order of the instincts for instinctual sequence follow a pattern that I have, and my predicted DNA from my girlfriend has, and my grandma has. So you know how Enneagram has stress paths and security paths going in opposite direction. So it's like, 1 stresses to 4, stresses to 2, stresses to 8, but 8 goes in security to 2, secures to 4, secures to 1. Well, there's a similar relationship with the order of the instincts between the 3 of us. So you think of an order going forward of like self-preservation is normally talked about first. Think of that as 1. Social, 2. Sexual, 3. So if you have self-pres, social, sexual, 1, 2, 3, or social, sexual, self-pres, 2, 3, 1, or sexual, self-pres, social, 3, 1, 2. It's going in that direction. the three of us have the opposite direction, but all different orders of who starts. So the opposite direction is like sexual, social, self-pres, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So I have self-pres first, 1. Then I have sexual, 3. Then I have social, 2. My guess for my girlfriend is sexual to start, 3. Social, 2. Self-pres, 1. And what I think my grandma is the social first, 2. Self-pres, 1. Sexual, 3. So they all follow that, whether no matter where you start, like social, self-pres, sexual, social, self-pres, sexual, social, self-pres. It's the opposite order that all three of us have in different ways. All right, so now I'm going to talk about how her order, sexual, social, self-pres, ties into all of her numbers. All right, so let's start with the 7. So for being 7, what does it mean to have sexual first, social second, and self-pres third? Sexual first means you're going towards something, you want to pursue what you're interested in, pursue one-on-one relationship, and 7 is filling up with abundance. So these two work in harmony. So with this, she's just going to go, 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 and just fill herself up with more, want to pursue more. The weakness is you can get too scattered and forget all the other things, maybe have too much going on at once. Now, I thought a while for this instinctual sequence. I may be wrong because I get the sense that my future girlfriend can really have things in control. But maybe there's a way of really just being so into so much, but not letting it get out of control, having some sort of balance. I'm not sure. So then social 7, well, first, the sexual 7 is great. I would love that energy because I would love to just keep going and experimenting and doing so much, especially for me, basically being single all my life. I've got a lot of enthusiasm ready to just go and start things already. So I will love that. Social 7 is great, and my grandma has this energy of just giving from a sense of this. There's so much abundance of life, let me give it to you so you can feel it. I don't want to experience it. I want you to experience it. And grandmothers typically are this way, but she really felt this energy a lot from mine. So that's her secondary instinct. She has this giving mentality, which is really cool, but not so much that if she was just a social 7 to begin with, she would be extremely reluctant to take on the abundance and be selfish herself. And then self-preservation 7 is what I call FOMO, and she just wants to get all these things, but be afraid that she's going to miss any one of them. So it's normally self-preservation is more like grounded. You're afraid something's not going to pass, but oddly it seems that it may be more healthy to be able to let stuff go. And given I have self-preservation as my dominant instinct, I'm sure she can help me let stuff go. Especially me being a 4 hard type, I really can't let things go, so that'll be some nice counterbalance. Alright, so that's the 7 with those instincts. Now with the tri-type, 9 with those instincts. Sexual 9, the 9 wants to be at peace. The sexual 9 will merge with a partner or someone. So they'll say, "Oh, you like this? Yeah, I think I like this too. Let's go." And with the 7 being her main type, she's just going to be more willing to go in general. So it's really kind of super nice. Me being a 4 type, if I'm like, I'm really interested in this stuff, then with her wanting to merge, then there'll be a lot of, oh, she's interested, like, hey, you want to go to this event? Like, oh, that sounds fun. I want to do that too. So that's the sexual with the 9. Social with the 9 is really working for the group, like maybe the dance group, having a drive to work because it serves the group, and that's your social instinct to have a role in the group. So I can see that potentially. And then self-preservation 9, their self-preservation is repressed, then she's not going to want to just she doesn't need a comfort thing like this couch. Self-preservation 9s, they think of this couch, they need some safety, stability to go back on. It's based on self-preservation being last, she's not going to want that. She's not going to need that. Then try type 2. Sexual 2 is just really wanting to be sexy for your partner. Obviously, that's super cool. They say the growth work for sexual 2s is not dressing down, not being able to dress down, and just wanting to do whatever to help your partner. So again, that 2-4, 5:24 on the clock. Me being the 4 of like really thinking from a self-referencing point, having friends that are 2s, it's like they can see you, they can see what they can see you very well, so that bond would work ridiculously. 5:24 minutes in this clip. Social 2, very much like the social 9, like serving, wanting to do things for the group, definitely could be for the dance group. Self-preservation 2, serving to get their needs met, so that's not really a issue. Self-preservation being repressed. Those are the tri-type numbers. Next, we're going to break down the instinctual sequence by the other numbers, wings and paths. The 6 component is interesting. I'm a 6, my main type, but self-preservation is so different with the 6 than the sexual, because self-preservation 6 is like double fear. Embrace the gray and don't decide on anything. Don't make any black and white cutoffs like a social 6, because I know that the cutoffs are arbitrary. I can't make them. So my girlfriend presumably has sexual 6 as the leading instinct. So when she goes to her 6 wing, it's not from a place of panic, seeing the gray, frozen, like I become. She's more, hey, there's fear here, but the sexual instinct says, go, act, immediately. Do something to disarm the fear. So that looks very different from me. And then her secondary instinct is social, so black and white, being able to just put barriers and move forward, which I really don't have, being social repressed. So even though we both have a 6 component, she can help me not be trapped by fear or some situation. And she can also help me in a masculine way with her 8 wing, which I don't have an 8 component. So how does it look for her? Sexual 8, it's a potential candidate to be a counter type. Officially social 8 is counter type, but sexual 8 is counter type potential, because 8 is like boundaries, protection, don't let anyone in, don't get hurt. But the sexual wants to go towards someone, especially one-to-one partner, and be vulnerable. So while she has some 8 in her, she'll still want to have that deep connection. Now, here's a reason I was scared to think that her main type could be 8. Her main type's 8, especially if she's a sexual 8, then there's a form of possessiveness, of controlling things. And I haven't had girlfriends with this, but I've noticed some similar dynamics with, coaches or friends or other people, and I just see myself as the 4 heart type, like being very receptive to stuff, getting controlled, maybe not, that's a strong word, but just noticing how submissive I can get. And I'm like, I don't know about this. But that might have been with people who I didn't have that bond, I didn't see eye to eye with, so it's a little dangerous, it's a little frustrating. So if I have such a connection to, have my first girlfriend in a really long time, to have that kind of connection, then if we're on the same page, it's a lot better if I'm responding, my 4 is responding to her 8 assertiveness, and the sexual 8 just really having that strong relationship. Social 8 kind of as secondary instincts, again going with what I said before, like serving the group, but more from an assertive standpoint. And then not having the self-pres 8 is not as relevant. The last 2 numbers to look at with the instincts are the stress path 5, security path 7. So stress path 5, all these paths have some opposite tension. So the natural 7 wants to go, expand. The 5 wants to think in terms of contract every detail, get it down. So when she gets to a stress point, she can still think very detailed. But even so, the sexual 5 is the counter type because the sexual instinct wants to go forward. So she can get into the zone of figuring out things in the right detail, but she'll still want to do some expansion, creativity. I know this point well because I thought I was a sexual 5 when I thought because my intelligence, maybe I'm a 5, but I don't seem to be a 5. But the sexual 5 of like expansion, creativity seems to make up for it because the 5s are more introspective, and I'm like, I want to go out, I want to connect. Now I know that I'm a 6 with the 5 wing, and the 4 hard point is what makes me connect. But anyway, I thought it was a sexual 5 for a long time, and it's what I want to embrace in the future. When I have ideas, I think about them very much to help the world build systems, but then I want to expand, I want it to happen. So it's a very cool place to be, to have such depth of thinking, but use it for expansive purposes. So that'd be a really interesting point to see in her. Then social 5 wants to make sure the group has the same, there's some kind of hierarchy. So it could be like elite dancers within a group, or philosophy, people have the same philosophy. She might have some of that. But then self-pres is repressed. Self-pres 5 is super narrow, wants to like have mental time to retreat. So she's not going to want that from this DNA reading. Okay, this has been quite a video to make. Last, type 1, security point. So I have 1 as a tri-type, but I'm a self-preservation 1, so I turn it in. My criticism is about me, turning inward, worried that I've done something wrong according to my own standards. So self-pres repressed for her, she doesn't have that. If she has the sexual 1, then when she's secure, then she's going to say, hey, this is not right, or like she's right. She'll be vocal about whatever is potentially wrong. Now, sexual 1s as their main type, they can be very much, hey, this is wrong, and immediate, and it can be intense. But given all of the 7, 9, 2 is super optimistic, 1 is just a security point, so it's not going to be as aggressive or pervasive as if sexual 1 was her main type. And then social 1, she'll have a good sense of how to maintain good standing in the group with knowing, like following the rules, knowing what to do. So that's the 1. So she doesn't have a 3 or 4 component, and there's some interesting takeaways from that. She doesn't have a 3 component. She doesn't have this image-driven driver behind her. So what does that mean? Now, if she was a social 3, or even social secondary instincts, she would know how to make herself look good and do well in a social group. So she can still be very accomplished socially. She doesn't need that, but image isn't something she is like internally having this motivation. How do I look good? She already looks good just by being herself. And sexual 3, she would be helping me look good. So there's not that part in there. Most interestingly, I have a strong self-preservation 3 component, self-preservation dominant, and as a 6, I go to my 3 a lot. I don't want to deal with the gray. 3, I want to optimize. I just want to see something that I can get into. I don't want to worry about whatever is tripping me up. So self-preservation 3 often works hard, and they're image conscious, but more like a 1 about doing something wrong. So she doesn't have that. She's just like, let's just go. She has a 1 component to her of I want it to be done right, but she's not worried about what other people think, not having the 3 component. And that's very powerful, because how many times in our society do we say, don't worry about what people think? Well, you can't just turn it on and off. You have to look at your Enneagram DNA. So she doesn't have that 3 issue. Then the 4. She doesn't have the 4 issues either. She doesn't see what's naturally missing. I'm the one who does that, so her optimism will really complement me, and I won't have to worry about what she sees as missing as her default heart type. I'm just worried about what I'm missing. If she had sexual 4, then she would be very vocal about, hey, this is missing. And so if her Enneagram DNA is really cool with being sexual at the top for other numbers or in general, being sexual dominant is fun, well, good thing that sexual 4 isn't in there, because then sexual 4 is this more anger, immediate, hey, this is not right, I'm going to tell you about it. And that would be pretty difficult for anyone. Now, I have sexual secondary, so that's not my default, but that's what's going on under the hood when self-preservation 4 is leading. As a self-preservation 4, I work really hard. I fear I won't get what I want, what's missing as a 4. So self-preservation is fearing that it's not going to happen, so I work really hard. With my self-preservation 4, self-preservation 3, 2 components, I work really hard, and I don't know when to quit. So her 8, sense of boundaries, and 7, move on, optimism, don't worry about it, that'll probably challenge me, but it'll be really good for me. And she won't have self-preservation 4 at all. 4 is not in her Enneagram DNA, self-preservation repressed. We will complement each other very well. All right, enough's enough. I wanted to make my claims before I got into a relationship, and I did that. So look forward to another part of once I'm actually solidly in a relationship. I can take some time to get her Enneagram DNA, see what she thinks about it, and we'll see how close I get.